I recently learned how to create an aligned business in the sense of how to also get my creative feminine energy into my business so that I could make it a success while enjoying the process. We take things personally or we take things as a personal attack because there's some part of us that doesn't have that strong identity where we fully believe in ourselves. I would switch off the Zoom video and I would be crying behind the scenes because I just couldn't do it and I always got criticism. Because every time at work, my weaknesses were always highlighted. And I'm not a 9 to 5 person. And no matter someone is saying, do marketing for a coaching firm because I'd studied marketing, right? But how is doing SEO or any marketing helping me become a better coach? Like, how? They only talk about all this caption template, email template, how should I clickbait and all of this. I just don't like it. The whole hot lead, warm lead, cold lead. So when I stopped calling human beings leads, it changed the game. I believe in manifestation a lot because I have manifested something very specific and that scared the shit out of me because I feel like I created it out of thin air.
Welcome to another episode of The Ineffable Mystic. Today's ineffable mystic is Prarthana. Prarthana, how are you? And tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hi, Rio. Thank you for having me today, firstly. I'm a life coach, and what I do is I work with entrepreneurs to help them build aligned personal brands and businesses. So, a little bit more about myself. I would say if I could use one word to describe myself, I would say a free spirit. I'm very rebellious. I hate rules and regulations. I always like going against the norm and finding my own path, which is something I've been able to do for myself over the past few years. So I call myself a free spirit. Yeah.
Yeah, same here. I have also been always a free spirit. You can't chain me, you can't tell me what to do. And yeah, before I was like just following what other people are doing, but then, when you rediscover yourself, you become even more of a free spirit and a rebel, I feel.
Yeah, 100%.
How does your work help your clients? What do your clients come to you the most with?
So I've changed my niche a lot actually. And this is my niche right now, which is that I help entrepreneurs with growing their personal brands from a lens of clarity and confidence. So clients either come at me to, work on their mindset, on their imposter syndrome, to work on any of these limiting beliefs that is blocking their growth in their business. Because I realized when I started my business that it's not all strategy. There's so much energy work that goes in it. And honestly, I feel like the energy work is more important than the strategy work. Because I did all the strategy work. Like I worked with a marketing coach, I got all my strategy in place. She's a multi-million dollar coach. So she gave me like the multi-million dollar strategies. But I still felt like, absolute shit while running my business. Like I genuinely did not enjoy the process at all. And I felt like this is not it. So even after finding my purpose as a life coach, I still felt burnt out and exhausted. Like once you find your purpose, you're like, oh my God, I figured out my purpose. But even after finding it, I still, met a lot of roadblocks and I wasn't living in alignment, I would say. And I feel like living in alignment is not just living your purpose. It's also the approach. Your approach needs to be in alignment with your personality and who you are. And my approach was not at all in alignment. I was like hustling and I've always been a very masculine person. Like I've been into hard work and hustling. I've studied from Singapore. I've been born and brought up in India. So a lot of masculine energy. But I recently learned how to create an aligned business in the sense of how to also get my creative feminine energy into my business so that I could make it a success while enjoying the process. Like, why do I have to struggle to make it a success? Like, why is struggle necessary? So there were a lot of limiting beliefs that I had to work on. So I worked on those limiting beliefs and I have successfully eradicated them because this is the first time I'm seeing, actual change in my life after working on these limiting beliefs. So now I help my clients do the same, which is work on any limiting beliefs that are blocking their business growth or that is just making them feel, stuck or they're losing themselves in their business or they feel burnt out, unfulfilled, or they feel like there's a missing piece. I help those entrepreneurs, or I also help aspiring entrepreneurs figure out their purpose in their business, like what they want to do in their online brand, how they want to help people. So that's why clarity, and then I do confidence, which is again around limiting beliefs.
Yeah, that's so wonderful because I went through the same journey in my business as well. So when I started my business, I was looking at what everyone else is doing and I would try to copy them and try to do the same things. And I also had like a lot of different coaches, and I applied all their strategies, and I was still feeling like shit. I
Mm,
wasn't feeling like myself. And again, I found that there's a lot of masculine approach going on, and
mm,
that was not me.
mm.
So I needed to also find, my purpose and my voice and how I wanted to do my business. So it's kind of a very similar journey here as well. So
Yeah.
what would you say are the top three, let's say, limiting beliefs that people have, and you help them overcome them?
I would say in the coaching industry, one would like I've worked with a few freelancers and coaches, but in the coaching industry, especially, a lot of people who are aspiring coaches, they feel like coaching is a scam, or a lot of people have told them coaching is a scam. So they're like,
Hmm.
I don't want to be a scam, I don't want to be a fraud. So then imposter syndrome comes in. Like, who am I to coach? Because the industry is unregulated, so I don't want to be one of the unregulated, which is a good thing, which shows that you're a person of high integrity if you have imposter syndrome. But that keeps coming up, so I help them break that limiting belief that who are they to coach, that they have value, that they have people waiting for them. If they have the skills, they have the experience, they have the knowledge to coach clients. See, there's a difference between imposter syndrome and actually being aware that you have no skills to coach, or you genuinely don't want to help people. A lot of people are attracted to the coaching industry because of the whole time freedom, time flexibility, can work from Bali, all these things that sound so cool. That's why people are attracted. But if you don't have this genuine desire to serve people, I don't think you can build a sustainable coaching business. So I think that's a big thing. So when I work with aspiring coaches, it's like understanding their motive firstly behind this, and understanding where is this imposter syndrome coming from. Is it coming from them not genuinely wanting to be a coach, or is it coming from like external voices that they've internalized that I am not good enough to be a coach? So there are multiple shades to imposter syndrome also, which I try to help them identify, go to the root of where it's coming from, and help release it and restructure that story. But imposter syndrome would be one. Number two would be fear of failure, which is kind of related to imposter syndrome, because when you're like, who am I to coach? You also fear that you won't make it in the industry. So fear of failure is another one. And lastly, the money issue, like not being able to charge for coaching, which is big because people feel like they are taking away someone's hard-earned money, which is not true because money is energy. When you start looking at money and you start looking at your business as a spiritual entity rather than profit making,
Yeah,
it just helps a lot, because a lot of people feel like wanting money is a bad thing, but it's not a bad thing. And so again, that's restructuring that limiting belief that actually wanting money can help you. When you want money, you just want the freedom that money gives you. That's what you
mm,
deeply desire. So it's not really a bad thing at all. Like wanting freedom in life, why is that bad? Everyone wants freedom. Like if we're all going to be honest with ourselves, we all want freedom. So wanting money is not bad. It's just the approach and the intention behind doing it. When you focus on value, money is a byproduct,
yeah, yeah.
not when you focus on money.
That's a
Yeah.
great quote you have right there.
Yeah.
So one of your specialities is helping people with the gaining confidence, right? So what would you say confidence actually is, and how does it come?
Hmm. So confidence is self-perception completely, but
Mm,
it is a muscle that can be exercised. It's not something that we're all innately born with. Like we're all very confident babies, but then as we grow, we all lose confidence at a certain level. We lose that confidence, right? We start having inferiority complex, comparing ourselves with our peers, low self-esteem, all of those things come in. But it's very possible to regain your confidence, to regain that lost power. It's very possible. It's a muscle that you exercise. Like you go to the gym, it's a mental muscle that you exercise. So that's what I think confidence is, and that's what my group coaching, especially, which is the 3-month program that I offer, which is called Audacious Academy Group or ARG, that helps people with, regaining that lost confidence. And again, rewiring it all goes down to limiting beliefs. It all goes down to what you believe about yourself,
mm,
because what you believe about yourself is what confidence is. So when you have a very strong self belief, you have very strong confidence, what other people say about you won't affect you as much. And it's like saying, if someone came up to me and told me, you have blue hair, I hate it, I'd be like, this person is very delusional because I have black hair, not blue hair. So I wouldn't care. Like it wouldn't affect me at all, because I wouldn't take it as a personal attack. But a lot of times we take things personally, or we take things as a personal attack because there's some part of us that doesn't have that strong identity where we fully believe in ourselves. There's some part of us where that belief is not very strong, which is why if someone comes and like initially someone would come and tell me that, you're so young and you're coaching, or like, how are you going to be a good coach at this age? Like, how would you know, so that would break my confidence, because some part of me also felt that I was too young to coach. It was a limiting belief I had. There is no such thing as being too young to coach. Now I know that. But at that point of time when I started my business, that broke my confidence a lot when a lot of people came up to me and said that you're too young to coach, because I had a limiting belief that I was too young to coach. So they kind of triggered it.
Mm.
So confidence is a lot of self work where you build this relationship with yourself, build a connection with yourself. Yeah.
Yeah, very wonderfully explained. This happens to me as well. Like I'm 32 right now, and people still come to me and say that you're so young. Like, how can you do like this deep work in spirituality? And I'm like, I was always like this. I was doing this deep work even as a child. You know, I was helping other children come out of depression or gain their confidence and whatever. So it's like all these things you already have when you are born. It's just that you were exercising them in different ways. So you might be coaching other
Mm.
people in different ways when you were younger, and you are just doing it professionally now. So and
Yeah.
I always say, like, whenever like somebody has this problem with them that they don't think that they can coach or they're too young, I say that wherever you're at right now is important, and there are people who need you at this stage, right? So you always keep growing, and all those people who need you at those already grown stages will start coming to you, right?
Mm.
So wherever you're at is important and it's needed, right?
Yeah. 100%. Yeah.
Yeah, so tell us your story. Where were you before? What were you doing before, and how did you come into this business, this whole industry?
Okay, so I was always a nerd. Like I would study a lot. I started, I don't even know why I felt like I had to study so much. Like I attached my self-worth to my grades. So I had a void that I wasn't worthy enough. And it has to be like I have to prove to the world that I'm worthy. So I have to prove it either through getting good grades, then later it was a good job. And then to a certain extent, when I started my coaching business, it was through money, because that's the only tangible outcome to show that this is working, which is such bullshit. Like, it's such bullshit because there's so many other outcomes that it also is working. Like money is definitely one of them. It's a big one, but there's also the fact that you are enjoying the process of building your business, which I wasn't, right? So that is also an outcome that you're in alignment, that you're living your path. Um, I was in high school when I got my granddad's friend actually gifted me some spiritual books. And he gifted me these Dada Vaswani books. Let me see if I have some, which was all about, spirituality, life after death, why do good people suffer, so karma, all of these things.
Yeah.
And when I started reading these books, it was more of like understanding spirit. I understood spirituality a lot more, and I got into it a lot. Like I just got very inclined towards it. Wait, let me show you the book. Yeah. So Dada Vaswani. So in this book, he talks about questions you have always wished to ask. So, about Hinduism, what is the ending of karma? Um, how do you have real fun out of life? What are some golden rules? So, about every single thing about frustration, worry, criticism, peace of
Mm.
mind, happiness, everything I learned from Dada. And it was just like beautiful because my foundations of spirituality were very strong already. And I was very interested in it. So I kept reading and reading and reading. And I went to Singapore to study, to do my bachelor's in marketing and business. And I wanted to become a marketer. But little did I know that I was very in that whole comparison. Like I was living life on autopilot completely in Singapore because too much was happening all the time, like studying and exams and internships and resume, CV building. Like the whole thing was too much for me. I just kept focusing on what other people were focusing on, which is that as a marketer, getting a job in PNG or Johnson's and Johnson's. Like that was the biggest goal. If I've gotten a job in P&G and Johnson and Johnson's, I have successfully finished my bachelor's in SMU, Singapore Management University. So that was like the part I was on. But I think third year I burnt out. I remember burning out. I burnt out like every year at least once. But my third
Mm.
year was like the realization where I was like, this is not for me. The corporate is not for me. And it was after years of telling myself, what's wrong with me? My friends are enjoying it. Why can't I do it? Like, what is wrong with me? Because everyone else seems to be perfectly fine. Why am I struggling? I
Mm.
would be crying in my room, like in front, like, I would. switch off the Zoom video and I would be crying behind the scenes because I just couldn't do it. And I always got criticism. Because every time at work, my weaknesses were always highlighted. And I'm not a 9 to 5 person. I like to be my own boss. I like to have that flexibility and I want to create impact that I can directly see. When I was working in a 9 to 5, I did a lot of work and I couldn't see my direct impact. So that wasn't fulfilling my soul. And I believe I'm a light worker, like I'm a spiritual person. So I
Mm.
needed something that I could see that I'm helping people, because that is my purpose, is to serve and to give and to help. I couldn't see that when I was in the corporate, so that depleted my energy a lot. And then I decided to just quit. I quit all my internships before the end date, but this the last internship I was working in, I quit out of the blue and I left and I flew to India. And I decided to start a coaching business, like to test the waters. So for 2 3 months I started. I worked with a few clients and I worked with a life coach. I had my own life coach who helped me build my business also and helped me with my spirituality. So was she kind of made me realize that people do this full time. Coaching is a thing. It really helps. People do this full time. It's not a scam, because even I thought it was a scam, and it's not fluffy. So that realization made me understand that I want to be a life coach. I want to do this for other people. I want to help and serve people, and I want to work on my timeline while I'm doing this. And after that, I was just set that I want to be a life coach full time. I didn't know when I'm going to do it. I didn't know when I'm going to take the leap, but I wanted to do it. Then I graduated last year and I tried looking for jobs. Like, there was some part of me that was still pushing me to the societal path, like you look for jobs, whatever. But then there was again that inner voice that was very loud saying, just start the business, just start the business, like just upskill, do whatever you need, but get into it, because I was so interested in personal growth, mental wellness, spirituality. So I started upskilling because I was so interested. I got certified by Mind Valley. I studied NLP, which makes you understand how the subconscious mind works and the reprogramming. And I also did my positive psychology diploma from Singapore. And once I did that, I was like, this is the path. Like, that's it. Like, I am not looking back. I'm going to give it a try. And my mom said, take 1 year and see how it goes. Like, do it for 1 year and let's see if it's not working, then go back to the corporate or do an MBA. So that's what society will tell you. So I tried, I've been trying it. It's not even been a year, it's been 8 months. And it's been going really well. Like, there is no going back. Now there's no going back. Because I have built such a strong connection with my future self that I know there is no plan B. Plan A is the only plan. And plan A is me being a full time life coach, DJ, author, speaker, all of those things. That is plan A. That's the only plan. So now it's like I've just built a connection with my future self. And there, no matter what society tells me, I don't listen. That's why I call myself a rebel. That's why my podcast is Rebel with a Purpose.
Yeah, that sounds all so wonderful, and I so relate to your journey as well. Like, I have been like wavering on and off, in and out of my business for so long. It's only in the
Mm,
last 1.5, 2 years that I completely went all in. And
mm,
it's all because all these different things externally, they keep distracting you, they keep wanting to distract you. And sometimes you do get distracted because you might think that XYZ is more important than this. But
mm.
actually, when you go do all of those things, you again realize that, oh my God, I'm still again missing my business. I'm again missing the work that I did. So you come back again, and all of this keeps happening. So it's only when you just go all in, when you really accept that, okay, this is my path and this is where I'm going to give my 100%, is when you will start seeing the actual changes, right? So
100%. Yeah.
for me, it took more than 1 year. So if I was at your place, I would have probably gone back to corporate and then came back again. So
Yeah.
for me, it took more than 1 year, and now as well. For some reason, like, I need a lot of you can say self growth in for me, to be able to see that growth in my business as well, which is, I think, natural, because you are the one creating your business and maintaining your business. So all the growth that you go through is reflected in your business as well,
Business. Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
so when you started this work, when you decided that you want to be a life coach, were there any people around you who said that, oh, what are you doing, and why are you doing this, why did you quit your internship like that? So tell me about that.
Yeah, everyone. Not one per I don't remember one person saying, yeah, go. I mean, I feel like my friends were okay with it. It's just aunties, uncles that were not.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I got a lot of limiting beliefs like you're too young to start, or what experience do you have, or life coaches are all men in their 40s who have worked in the corporate for years, which none of was true. I don't think any of it was true because after I became a life coach, I met a lot of youngsters who were doing life coaching from
Hmm.
abroad, from India. Actually, I met a marketing coach today who is 24. But life coaching, I've met 22-year-old guys who are life coaches. I know three of my guy friends who are life coaches from Italy, from Rome. Yeah, two are from Italy and one's from US. Three of them are my life coaching friends, and they're all 22. They're all younger than me. So I realized that it's all bullshit that you have to be a certain age to life coach. And there was a lot more limiting beliefs like dress professionally, because I used to wear all these tube tops and this neck piece and go on my Instagram lives, and my bua pulled me aside one day saying that you can't wear all this because you want to be taken seriously. And then someone told me you have to gain weight because I'm thin, right? So someone told me you have to gain weight to be taken seriously. I'm just like, what are these stupid limiting beliefs? But at that point of time, I internalized it. Today
Yeah.
I look back and I'm like, what the fuck? But at that point of time, I internalized it a lot, and it became part of my identity, and it slowed down my business growth a lot. So I kind of see it all now in hindsight. And everyone told me not to get into it. Everyone told me to get experience with another life coach. But in the coaching industry, at least, I'm not going to talk about another profession. In the coaching industry, what experience can you get? Like, the only experience you get is by actually starting to coach. Like, that's when you get the experience. I don't want to work as a sales coach for someone else. I don't like that because I don't want to be a sales coach. And most of these coaches are hiring sales enrollment coaches, sales coach. I saw all of it because I was pushed to apply for to work for other coaches.
Hmm.
And most of them are just doing sales and enrollment calls. And even though that's an important aspect, I wanted to learn how to become a better life coach.
Hmm.
That was the point of because I'm using my time to become better at my skill. If I become better at my skill, everything else is just easier. But I have to be a great coach first to then everything else will follow through. So that was my main priority, is to become a better life coach. And when I set the intention and priority, which is very important, to first set an intention and priority, everything else and all these other voices that come from society, now you're able to just say no, and you're able to stick on your path because you have a priority set in such solid foundation that you can stick on this path. So for me, that was becoming a better coach. And no matter someone is saying, do marketing for a coaching firm, because I'd studied marketing, right? Do marketing for a wellness firm, do marketing for a coaching firm. No matter what they said, I'm like, okay, I did SEO for a therapist in Singapore, but how is doing SEO or any marketing helping me become a better coach? Like, how? So I was just like, it's not helping. Like, it's not taking me closer to my goal. And then I realized that I'm just going to stop listening to people. And there's this quote that I want to share for our listeners: all the rules of the world and society were made by people no smarter than you. What that means is that the people who have made all these rules of society were no smarter than you. You can make your own rules. You can say no to these rules. You have the power to create your own rules and live life on your own terms, which is something that changed my life because I always thought that everyone around me was smarter than me, and I thought I was super dumb. And the reason was because I only validated myself through grades or getting a good job. And I worked two times or three times as hard as my other friend to do well. And I would constantly compare myself to her because we used to go for the same classes, we used to study together, but I know I used to study so much harder than her, and we would both still end up getting the same marks. So I always felt like something was wrong with me. That was one instant. Second instant, Singapore, the internships, the corporate jobs. Again, I felt like out of place, like this is not where I belong. So again, I felt, what is wrong with me? So constantly asking yourself what is wrong with you takes a huge blow on your confidence. That's not the right question to ask. The right question is, where do I belong if this is not it? And what is right with me? What are your strengths? What are your interests? What is right with me? Not what is wrong with me. So I was just asking the wrong questions all my life. That's it. And that's why I was struggling and I was suffering, and I didn't need to suffer that much. Yeah.
Yeah, so society usually tries to fit you into these preformed boxes, whereas all of us are different and we have unique abilities, unique combination of abilities, and we might not be able to fit in those boxes. And then when we don't, we think that something is wrong with us because are we are thriving on acceptance by others, right? Even when there are kids, like it starts from kindergarten when kids are just being themselves. We try to shush them, we try to tell them to behave in a certain way, So it starts from there, right? As you said, you worked with a teacher and you worked with a coach. So tell me about that. Like, how was your experience and how did they help you?
So I worked with a marketing coach, then I worked with an alignment coach. So I'll be very honest with my experience, right? Um, Getting a coach is an amazing investment, number one. However, getting a coach that is aligned with your energy is very important, because you will realize that there are a lot of different coaches out there, but their energy, like everyone's energy, is very unique and different. So understanding and going for a coach where you feel aligned with their energy is the best investment, not just any coach. Because I invested in a marketing coach and it didn't go well, and the reason is the first 2 months I thought it was fine and I was learning a lot. Like I did learn a lot from her, but again, it wasn't aligned with the person I wanted to be, what she was telling me to do. And also, coaches don't really tell you what to do, they will guide you to your path. She was telling me what to do a lot. So that was a bad experience, but she kind of misguided me. So I went on a misaligned path, and that helped me find my alignment. Because when I was misguided, I was frustrated and anxious. And then I got an alignment coach to get me back on my track. And I worked with the alignment coach, and it was beautiful because her values, my values, her way of looking at life, and my aspirational way of looking at life was the same.
Hmm.
So she was kind of like my aspirational version. And working with a coach who's your aspirational version is the best investment you can ever make in yourself, ever. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great thing you said there, that working with someone who has the same aspirations as you, rather than, you know, working with a coach who has the same internet presence as you, because somebody can have the same internet presence but different values, different aspirations. So
Yeah.
I have experienced that as well. Like in my journey, I've had so many different coaches, and every time I worked with one coach, I felt like something is missing. It's still not taking me to the core, to the actual thing that I want to know. So there was something always like something is missing, and I couldn't know what that was. So I
Hmm.
kept jumping from one coach to another because I was, even though they were wonderful, whatever they taught was wonderful, but it was still not hitting the spot. So
Hmm.
still not enabling me to, unleash the real me, unleash the whole dimension. So
Yeah.
it's only last year when I was, following one woman, and she was not only living the life that I aspire to live, but she's also, having the same values, the same, again, same aspirations. And but she was very expensive, so I was like eyeing her for so long, and I was refraining from investing in her because somewhere I was still not believing in myself that I can also be there, right?
Hmm.
So I was investing in all those people who were a smaller version of her. So then last year I was like, F it, I want where she is. I want to, learn from her because I now believe that I can do it. And the way that I came to that point was only by throwing myself into situations where I would be forced to express my higher self, because
Yeah.
before I wasn't conducting all these classes and all these coaching sessions, but then I just threw myself into it even when I was not
Yeah.
ready. So then I got the self belief. I was like, yes, I can do it. And then I invested in her group coaching, which has very few members. So it's almost like one on one. So I was
Hmm.
lucky there. And it's still going on. And I'm so satisfied. I'm so happy with it because now I feel like, yes, I am where I am supposed to be. So I
Yeah.
would say don't hold off in investing the coach, teacher, mentor, whoever it is that you feel like aligns with your energy. Don't hold off.
Yeah, best decision ever. Like I've honestly made some really bad decisions and some really good decisions in my business. And investing in a coach or a mentor that can help you get to where you want to go, and in an aligned way, which is so important. Like not only get to where you want to go, like it's not just point A to point B, but it's
Yeah.
the process. Because if the process is not enjoyable, it's not sustainable and you will burn out. That
Yeah.
happened to me with my first coach. So it's not just point B. I would say it's also the process, the way they do it. So the values, right? Like you said, the values.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I can give like a small example of this. Like I had someone that I wanted to hire as a coach, and she was very, very masculine. I would say like 90% masculine based strategies, and
Mm.
that those strategies worked very well for her. So it's because who she is, right? They
Yeah.
worked very well for
Yes.
her, and she has made millions out of it, and she's helped so many people because all of those people were also masculine driven. But I was
Yes.
attracted to that just by seeing the success of all these people.
Exactly.
But when I started applying all the free content that she was sharing, I felt so misaligned. I was like, no, I can't do it. She was giving you like caption templates, post templates to be used, and XYZ. So you only have to follow this format, write the caption in this format. I was like, no, I can't do it. I'm more of a person who flows freely and who
Yeah.
writes freely. So I can't stick to these, templates and all of that stuff. So that's how I knew that I can't work with her. So then I shifted my strategy as well.
Awesome. Yeah, no, I've been there, done that. Like I completely related. I got into, so my marketing coach is very masculine. So I still work with her. I mean, I still have calls with her, but I don't go for the calls. It's group coaching. I don't
Mhm,
attend the calls anymore.
mhm.
I'm very in my balance between masculine and feminine, and I don't want to be pushed to my masculine because I just got out of that toxic masculine energy, and now I have a great balance. I'm very happy with my balance. It's made me a happier person. I do not want to go back into my toxic masculinity. That's why I feel like if I attend her calls and listen to that, oh my God, they only talk about all this caption template, email template. How should I clickbait and all of this? I just don't like it. I don't like it. There's no energy work. There's nothing about free flow and authenticity coming out.
Yeah.
So it's not my place. Yeah.
And I also feel like when we use these so-called tactics, they are almost borderline manipulation. And we are kind of like treating other people like devices, like, you know,
Yeah. We're
inanimate
treating them like
objects.
leads. Yeah. You know the whole hot lead, warm lead, cold lead. So when I stopped calling human beings leads, it changed the game because I don't like the word lead, or I don't like the I don't know these words that we use. I don't like it. I just like to call them humans.
Yeah.
Like they're human beings behind a screen. Like they're not our leads. They're like potential clients is also fine, but lead generation and lead magnet and all is not like a word that I like to use.
I know. I mean, it shows them as if they are some like inanimate objects who are just getting attracted to the magnet without their own will. Doesn't make any
Yeah.
sense to me.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
So let's talk about your spiritual experiences. Have you had any spiritual experiences throughout your life?
Can you define spiritual experiences?
So anything out of the ordinary, let's say anything like paranormal or some things that we call paranormal, or things like you followed your intuition and something happened, or deja vu, or anything else.
I believe in dreams being a signal to stuff,
Hmm.
like messages. I have a lot of dreams that have signaled a lot to me. So, like from family members who've passed on, I've gotten dreams of meeting them and talking to them and seeing them. So that is kind of supernatural. That is something you can't explain. And I have a friend who's a dream interpreter. So he has helped me interpret what this means. And a lot of it also came from my fear of abandonment. I had dreams around searching for my parents and my friends and my boyfriend. Like a lot of these, like, being lost and searching for people. So it's all that fear of abandonment, fear of not being loved. Those came up in my dreams. And what else is spiritual? I believe in manifestation a lot because I have manifested something very specific and that scared the shit out of me. Because I feel like I created it out of thin air, like literally. So it was a free iced mint mojito that was my first manifestation because this was a time where I didn't fully believe in manifestation and I wanted to believe in it. So I started with something small and specific. And I didn't even do much. So all I did was I sat in my room and I visualized drinking this fresh mint mojito and free. Like I didn't pay for it. I got it. It was a gift. And I just drank this free iced mint mojito and I like engaged my five senses, visualized for 5 days. Okay. I visualized every day for a few minutes and then I forgot about it. And the reason why it was so small is because then you don't have desperate energy because you don't give a fuck about a free iced mint mojito. Like you don't care if you don't get it. So I used the free iced mint mojito as an example, and literally a week later, I was in Barcelona. This was when I was solo traveling. I was in Barcelona. I went to my hostel, and literally it was a Monday, the day I checked into my hostel. That day they were having a mojito class that night. I attended all of this was very unconscious, like because I had manifested a week or 2 weeks
Yeah.
back, so it wasn't on my mind because I forgot about it. And then I went for a mojito class, and we made a mojito, and then the bartender just gave it to me, and he said, "You made it, you take it. Like it's for free, you take it because you made it." I literally didn't pay for it. I didn't even pay for the class. It was a free class. Like I just got a free iced mint mojito. And then, I didn't realize till 1 week later when I was back in India. I was back in India and I was showering, and I was like, wait, I was manifesting something, right? What did I manifest? And I was like, oh yeah, the iced mint mojito. Did that ever come true? And I started thinking whether I got a free iced mint mojito. And I did. And then I took a picture of, like, I also remember taking a picture of it. And then I posted my Instagram saying, I manifested this. Like I literally, because how can I don't think this is something, I don't believe in coincidences. Like honestly, I don't believe
Yeah.
in coincidence. Everything is a sign from the universe. So this was not a coincidence. This was me manifesting something and the universe proving to me that you can trust me.
Yeah.
Like let go, you can trust me. That was my starting point of trusting the universe and surrendering. That was my starting point. That was the big aha moment of I believe in the universe. I believe in magic. I believe there's more to life than all this logic bullshit. Like there's more to life than just being logical and practical. There is magic. There is miracles. People have healed diseases that apparently are not, you can't cure, right? Like doctors have told people that you're going to die in a year, and people have been able to survive like years and years and years. This has happened to a friend of mine in Bangalore. She's also a coach. She's healed like a unhealable disease which was not recognizable by doctors on her own through energy healing. So there's a lot of things that can't be explained by logic or by doctors or by scientists, right? And Joe Dispenza does a really good job of combining the two, combining science and energy. So I love reading Joe Dispenza, but it's just, there's a lot that you can't explain in life. And I feel like law of attraction does a good job of explaining a lot of the magic and miracles, but there are some things that even I can't explain that has happened in my life. But when I talk about the dreams and stuff, there's certain things, I'm sure everything has a purpose, everything has a reason, but there's some things I just don't know how to logically put a definition to. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and yeah, manifestation is definitely real, and there's so much magic in us and all around us that we don't realize, and it gets beaten out of us. But if we take time to reconnect to that, we can do so much, so many wonders in life, and it can range from just small things like a iced mint mojito to big things like manifesting a house. And
Yeah.
I always say, like, if something hasn't manifested yet, just wait. It's only because there is something better there waiting for you, and that's cooking up right now. So it's in the pipeline. Yeah.
Yeah, but also like believing in the universe, believing that you're co-creating. A lot of people don't believe it because they've not seen it. So
Yeah.
they're like, how do I believe something I haven't seen? If you look at a definition of belief, it is it is believing without evidence. It's having faith in something with no evidence. So it's just about surrendering without having evidence. You don't need to always have evidence to surrender. However, if you want evidence, start with something very small. Like
Mm.
for me, it was the iced mint mojito that it skyrocketed my belief. Like it made it a lot stronger. So I did believe, and I was like curious about it. So there was some part of me that was like, okay, this could happen. So I did have certain belief before I manifested. And then when that manifestation came true, my belief was much more solid. So I
Mm.
would say to our listeners, if anyone is on the verge or they don't fully believe in this magic, start with something small and specific that you don't really care about.
Yeah.
And then be conscious and be aware when that comes into your life because it will.
Yeah. So when I was little, I used to I used to always daydream. So when I was little, I used to daydream a lot, like meeting my crush, meeting my best friend and doing something in particular, going to the park and all that, spending time. So I would daydream all of that with like full emotions because I used to love it. And then I would be so shocked when the same scene would play out the next day or in the next few days. I would be so shocked.
Yeah.
And I tested that. I started testing it on many different things, and everything would come true. So when I was little, all these things used to happen very, very fast because when you are small, when you are a child, you don't have all these, conditionings and all this trauma that you carry on in your life, that you get in your
Mm.
life. So you are able to manifest a lot faster. But as an adult, if you tap into the same energy, if you tap into the same original version of you and then start manifesting, you can see the magic. And my husband is like that. He's very pure, very childlike, and he manifests like crazy. He would say something now and it would be, manifested into the reality in the next few hours, sometimes immediately. And I'm shocked to see all of that. And he does it like this. And I'm like, you are a master manifester. You shouldn't doubt yourself in any way, because he also has his self doubts. And it's so magical about, like, what you can do with this.
Yeah, and how do you tap into, sorry, I know you're supposed to be asking the questions, but how do you tap into
Yeah,
this
so
vibration of like your younger self or your childlike self?
yeah, so again, it just comes back to, connecting with your inner child. And your inner child, it can be closeted, it can be hiding somewhere, depending on how much self growth you've done. So the more you grow, the more you come closer to your inner child, right? The more you unleash your inner child. So if you want to tap into it, you can start by either meditating or journaling. It helps to look at your old pictures or old videos you have, and then connecting with that same energy, that same person you were in that time, without all the trauma, without all the experiences, negative experiences that you had growing up. And you can tap into the same energy like that.
Hmm. Yeah.
The more you grow, the more you peel back layers to your inner child. So it also comes in your self expression, right? If your inner child was dancing around and you are not, so do the same thing now, right?
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome.
Let's talk about you in your low zones. So when you are in your low zone of your life, when you don't know what's next, when you feel stuck, what do you do in those times?
That's a really good question. Because I'm a very I want to figure it out now person. I'm very impatient with figuring it out. I want to always have answers today. But realizing that that's not practical. Like that is not going to be the way it is all the time. And again, like for me, it's trusting and surrendering helped a lot to not have answers immediately. Also understanding that everything is figure outable. Like just because you can't figure it out today doesn't mean you won't figure it out in the future. Your future self is very smart. She will figure it out. It's just about trusting this future self, trusting the universe. So then that helps you surrender. um, yeah, so when I'm overwhelmed or stuck, there are two things I do. And I've realized this, okay, recently. Either, and this depends on my mood completely, either I face it, like whatever is overwhelming me, I journal about it and I face it, like journal, talk to a coach about it or my mentor about it, and I journal about it. Or I distract myself. And a lot of times, the distraction is happening. I only distract myself when I know that this is like I've worked on the base fear because everything comes from a deeper root issue. And I always want to go back to the root. Like that for me has been life changing to go back and understanding why am I like this? Or what is causing me to compare, for example, or what is causing because when I compare, I get overwhelmed. So I'm taking that as an example, right? So what is causing me to compare? And I've worked on my comparison issues a lot. And I now know that comparison is a thief of joy and comparing doesn't take you anywhere because it takes you away from your aligned path. So now when I feel like that comparison is coming in, which rarely comes in, but when it does come in, I distract myself because I know it's not worth wasting my time or overthinking on it. And sometimes I journal on it if I'm feeling it. Like so again, intuitively, whatever I feel like doing, either journaling or either distracting. That's one of the two. But I wouldn't say distract if you haven't worked on the deeper issue. Like always go you get a coach or get a mentor or journal and get down to the deeper issue of why you're comparing yourself so much. Like what in you feels not enough. This is just an example, but yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so I do that as well when I'm in the low zone. Um, it's okay to be in those low zones is also one thing. You need to
Yeah.
accept that you can't be always figuring out everything. You can't be always, sailing high. There will be times when you will not be shown the path, and it's only for your own benefit. It's only so that you take time to rest and, take care of your needs. So sometimes you're just forced to be low as well, right? And it's just for our own benefit, and not to, try too hard in those times, because you can burn out. That
Yeah.
time is for you to look at yourself. right?
Yeah, I believe the low zone is also like you said, it's the time for ourselves, and it takes you to where, what you've manifested to be. So, say for example, like I want this in life. There's a reason why today I'm not there,
Hmm.
because as a person, I have to become to get those things. And while going through my everyday, I am becoming that person. So even in the figuring out periods, even in my low periods, the universe is throwing me challenges to get closer to this person that I have manifested for myself, my future self. So I look at challenges as privilege, life as a gift.
Yeah.
So every time a challenge comes, I'm like, this is a privilege. It's taking me closer to my future self. And that helps you reduce suffering in life.
Yes,
Because
yes.
because suffering, I feel like, okay, challenges, pain is all gonna happen. It's all inevitable. But suffering is a choice. Suffering is how you react to this. So that's how I look at it. And I feel like challenges are a privilege. And now looking at life like this, and also rejection. I used to have this whole fear of rejection. Looking at rejection as dodging a bullet and making space for something bigger and better. So
Hmm.
changing my perspective on these things has made my suffering a lot lesser in life. And it's made me go through the low, overwhelmed periods with more resilience than before.
Yeah, same here. When you get rejection from somewhere, it's it's not that something is wrong with you or you are a failure or something. It's saving you from something, and it's showing you that that's not the path for you. And for
Yeah.
me personally, it happens is that whenever something is aligned to my life path, it happens very quickly, so I don't even have to do anything. So for example, before I wasn't collaborating, thinking that I might not be worthy of collaborations, or I might not be confident enough to collaborate with people. But once I listened to my coach, so my coach was also tuning into my energy and saying the word collaboration again and again. So then I started collaborating, and it's happening so easily for me, as compared to other things. So that's also one sign that yes, that is aligned to your higher purpose. And it can happen easily in the general sense, but also you will feel more at ease while doing it as well, right?
Yeah.
If you feel a lot of internal resistance to something that you're wanting to do, then that desire might not be actually aligned to your higher self. It might be
Yeah.
aligned to your ego more, to the
Yeah.
person you think you want to become, right? So that is also something to think about.
Yeah, that's really well said. Like, I completely agree with the internal resistance. If you're
Mhm.
facing too much resistance or too much suffering, it means you're out of alignment.
Yeah.
That's how I see it. Yeah.
It might be that you need to do something, you need to grow somewhere to come in alignment, or it might be that you need to change the path altogether.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's totally up to you what you do with that. But
Yeah.
yeah, you will always feel resistance internally.
Yeah. So that's what I was facing when I was in Singapore and I was working there. Like I faced a lot of internal resistance throughout. So then I decided to change my path after, those 4 years. And then getting into my coaching business, everything feels in alignment, everything feels at ease. But again, not in the start. Now everything feels in alignment. Now it feels at ease. But when I started my business, again, I was out of alignment because the strategies that I was taking to build my business and to scale it was not in alignment. Like they were
Hmm.
masculine, like you said. Yeah.
Yeah, so even when you are in your life path, let's say you are working on your business and it's aligned to your life path, it's not like everything will happen very easily. Challenges will come, but
Yeah.
you will feel good tackling those challenges. You will feel
Yeah.
almost, you won't feel that internal resistance. You won't feel like you want to uh, jump, or you want to escape somehow. You will feel like, yes, I want to overcome this challenge, so I will do XYZ. You will feel very much in alignment with that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So lastly, tell us any one client success story that you want to share, um, that would help understand the depth of your work as well.
So, like I said, my niche changed a lot. I mean, I helped one client find her purpose as a product manager from a software engineer. So she
Mm-hmm.
kept applying for software engineer jobs, kept facing roadblocks, and then she realized that this was out of alignment, which is why the universe was not giving her what she wanted because she thought she wanted it, but again, it was out of alignment. So I helped a client with like figuring out her purpose in the corporate. But then I shifted from that to doing purpose as an entrepreneur, like, helping entrepreneurs. And right now, the work I do, like, I'm working with a client to help him get clear on his niche, on his purpose as an entrepreneur, in the sense of how he wants to serve people, who he wants to serve, how he wants to run his business. So that's a lot of alignment work I do. Um, another client, like if I could give a tangible outcome, I've worked with this other client, and he's extended his, contract with me. So there's been a lot of improvement also because we've been working together for 4 months now. And for him, the biggest tangible outcome I would say is decreasing his antidepressants. So while working with me, his dosage got lesser, which was such a big, like, it was such a good feeling that I could help someone do this. And secondly, just having so much more structure to his life. So he's a very creative person. He wasn't able to, very in his feminine, not in his masculine. So he wasn't able to figure out how to get masculine. He's a freelancer. So how to get masculine in his business so that he could attract more clients, so he could grow his business more, grow himself also in terms of doing other projects and self-growth projects. So for him, structure was the biggest thing. And when we worked on structure, his wellness increased. He started like being more productive, he started being more focused, he started having meaning and purpose in his life because we set aligned goals. And now he's just like, his antidepressants have reduced so much. He's just working on himself. And he's so much better than when I first, met him, when even the first 1.5 months actually. Right now if you look at him, he's a different person. So I feel like that would be my biggest client success as of now. I'm very, very, very proud of him. Yeah.
Yeah, and that is so life-changing for somebody, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
wonderful how we don't try to connect the dots, but if you really look at it, like this kind of work can really help somebody have a better mental, emotional wellness as well, because they are associating their identity, they're associating their whole life purpose with that, with their business, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a lot of like, because you said identity, a lot of my work is around future self identity. Like, who are you in the future? So I don't go into the past that much, but it's more of like getting clarity on who your future is, and then what are the goals you're setting today, and is it aligned with your future self or not? And then again, looking at like, is this a future self you're creating out of your desire, or is it somewhere related to a limiting belief or a societal conditioning? Because you should, I feel like it's very important, we don't do this enough. Look at your goals and ask yourself, are these my goals? Like, are these truly my goals, or is this a goal that I feel like I need to prove to someone something, or is it coming from a fear, or is it coming from a societal conditioning? That is very important. Do you really want your goals because it truly makes you feel excited and happy and joyful from within and grounded, which is a big sign of alignment? Or do you want the goals to prove someone wrong, or just because you feel like it'll increase your perception in in the eyes of others? So that again is an ego goal, not a soul led goal. So there's a difference between ego goals and soul led goals, and I help people like identify their soul led goals so that they're creating a journey that is aligned. Firstly, it starts with that, identifying, who you want to become, and then what you want to do. So all of those questions, I think that's so important, and that's such a big part of my work, because without that, what business are you building? Like, that's the foundations.
Yeah, and it really helps to have another person's perspective on it, because sometimes when we are in the situation, we are unable to see all of this. We are unable to see, okay, this goal is not coming from my higher self, it's coming from my ego, it's coming from my societal expectations. We are unable to see that when we are in it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%. Yeah.
What one message you would give to our audience for them to take home?
Follow your curiosity and follow your passion. And if you're in the hustle mindset, I just want you to know this one thing, which is, an unhappy process will not lead to a happy destination. An unhappy process will not lead to a happy destination. If you have certain goals that you think only when I get there I'll be happy, or this is the happiness trap that you're stuck in. If you feel like once you get there you'll be happy, enjoy every single moment of life, because your vibration depends on your energy. And what energy are you showing up with every day? If you're showing up feeling stressed, overwhelmed, why do you feel, what makes you think that your future is going to be happy? Because the energy that you are attracting is stress and overwhelm, not happiness. So show up every day with the energy that you want in your future. So embodiment is the biggest takeaway for me, for anyone listening. Because when you show up as the person that you want to be, as the person who wants that life, that's how you're creating the life. That's the quickest way. Energy work.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's all about the journey, not the destination, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Cliche, but true.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah.
Yeah, and I feel that we know all these quotes, but when it comes to applying these quotes,
We don't.
we don't.
We don't apply it.
Yeah. So it definitely helps to have a coach or a teacher to help you see this and apply it as well, and help you
Yeah,
come back on track.
100%. We having a coach is very, very helpful. It's been very helpful to me. And a lot of people also, a lot of my clients, they say they wouldn't have done this without me. You just need someone to like you can get all this free information on YouTube, but a coach is not giving you it's not like we just give information. We personalize the entire pathway to make it so convenient and easy for you to get to this desired version.
Yeah.
So the pathway is in alignment, the desired version is in alignment. All of this, you can't do this just by consuming free content. Like it, I've tried this. It has doesn't work out. Like you need a mentor, you need a helping hand. We all need help, and there's no shame in that at all.
Yes, definitely. So where can people find you if they want to work with you?
So I would say the best place is Instagram. I create my entire personal brand on Instagram. I love Instagram. So my Instagram handle is at purpose with Prarthana with my spelling. Just write purpose with Prarthana. People spell my name wrong. I have to say it. So that's my Instagram, and you can just DM me to work with me. We can see, we can chat, we can get on a call. Yeah.
All right, I'll put all that information in the description as well so that they can reach out to you via that
Yes, thank
link.
you.
And it was so wonderful to have you today and listen to all your thoughts and listen to your coaching process. It is so enlightening, and I'm sure so many people would benefit from your work.
Oh, thank you, Rio. Thank you so much.
Thank
Love
you
the
for doing
reassurance.
this, and thank you for showing us small girlies that they can also be a coach.
Yeah, we all can if we have the genuine intention and desire behind it, then you can be a coach. Yeah.
Yes. So we'll see you next time. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and thank you for
You
being here
too.
again.
Yeah, you too. Thank you. Bye. See you.
Bye.